Hello and welcome to my channel. This is whetehr and today we're gonna talk about a very popular topic amongst Minecraft Bedrock players, which is creeper farming. So, why creeper farming, you may ask? As you perhaps know, with the recent release of version 1.18.30, Mojang introduced a change in the game which broke many creeper farms. This change is related to how one very important part of creeper farms work, and this is buttons. And I'll explain that more in details a little bit later. But anyways, the goal of today's video will be to create a creeper-only farm that doesn't rely on buttons at all to function, while at the same time remain fairly efficient. So without further ado, let's take a look at the farm completed. Here you can see it. It's made up of 10 layers on which creepers and creepers only are going to spawn. These creepers then fall through these chutes. There are 2 chutes. They fall through these chutes down here into a set of 6 Trident killers, which burn the XP and feed the items into these central chests. But anyways, in order to build this farm, let's first review the basics of creeper farming. In order to farm creepers, there are 2 things that you need. The first is a device to block spiders from spawning, and the second is a device to block anything else but creepers from spawning as well. When it comes to blocking spiders, the most widely used contraption or device is buttons. Buttons used to work for a very specific reason. To understand this reason, you have to understand why and how mobs spawn on blocks. In Minecraft, when mobs spawn, they don't spawn on the center of their block. So for example, here on this pink block, they wouldn't spawn where my crosshair is pointing. Rather, they spawn near the northwest corner of the block. So here, for example, northwest is very easy to see with glass. On glass, there is one corner where you have 3 dots, and this corner is northwest. So here we know this is northwest, so this here is west and this is north. So whenever a mob attempts to spawn on this pink block here, it'll spawn around here, right next to where my crosshair is now pointing. And in order to be able to spawn, it needs to have clearance around. So these blocks here cannot be obstructed. If there is a block in any of these 3 spots, the spawn can't happen because there is not enough space for the mob to spawn. However, if there is an obstructed spot to the east or south of the spawning spot, the spawn can happen because again it happens near the northwest corner. With buttons, imagine you have a mob that spawns right next to where my crosshair is pointing right now. A mob with a fairly small footprint, such as a skeleton, a creeper, or a zombie, can spawn because its hitbox doesn't bump into what used to be the hitbox of buttons. Spiders, however, were too big and their legs would bump into the hitbox of buttons. But with the new change, the hitbox of buttons is now non-existent. So spiders can spawn where they used to be unable to spawn. But luckily, and if you follow my channel you might already know this, there are several things that we can use instead of buttons in order to prevent spiders from spawning. Things that still retain a proper hitbox. One example is actually what I used in my very first video about creeper farming, the very first Bedrock creeper farm. It was this: fence posts. Fence posts have a hitbox that allows regular mobs to spawn but prevents spiders. You can also use iron fences. They work as well. And I'd wager this lightning rod. The lightning rod works as well. But I haven't tested lightning rods, so don't take my word. So anyways, what used to be the buttons and now can only be fence posts or iron bars and perhaps lightning rods need to be placed into a pattern. We have two options which are still valid, and it's this one, the grid pattern, or this one, the diamond pattern, which was actually the original one, the first that was used. As for the second requirement of creeper farming, which is something to block other mobs besides spiders from spawning, the initial strategy, which was using trapdoors, still works. So where we used to have something like this, we can simply use something like this. And if you have a creeper farm, you can replace all the buttons in your farm with fence posts or iron bars. As for the layout, I'm gonna go fairly quickly over that. We are basically going to use water streams over scaffolding blocks, but we'll add our creeper only preventing blocks between each stream, like this. So the end result for a layer is this. We have a 9 wide platform that is, this is north, so it's along the east-west axis. This platform has water streams that run from the middle in order to make the stream as short as possible, and into the chutes. Then we have another platform here to the left, which is 4 wide, and another one to the right, which is 4 wide also. What this allows us to do as well is, if we want to make it bigger, for example to use split density, well, we can just make this platform 9 wide and then append another one at the end in order to make the contraption bigger. So this is for our first layer. And what we're gonna do, because as you can see here, we only have half of the spots that are actually spawnable. In order to cover for the spots that aren't spawnable on this platform, we're gonna add another layer on top of it, which will be shifted so that the non-spawnable spots here are spawnable, And the spawnable spots here are the non-spawnable ones. So this is our bottom layer, and this is what we'll call our top layer. And what we need to do is to place 5 of each. Basically 5 of the bottom layer, and then on top of that 5 of the top layer, which is what I did up there. As for the details, there is something that needs to be explained here. In order to stop the currents, we are using open fence gates here. And if I place my fence gate like this, as you can see, it connects to the fence post here. And that's something you don't want, because mobs can land here. So in order to prevent that, you have two possibilities, two choices. You can either replace this with a lightning rod or an iron bar, or you can simply have your fence gate face this way. Aside from that, you might be wondering why I'm using blue ice. That's purely cosmetic, but also that's a reminder that we are building in the ice spikes biome. And the reason why it's preferable to build in the ice spikes biome is that this is the biome that has the highest creeper spawning rate. So here is a view of our top layer. As you can see, it's shorter by 2 rows. And these chutes drop down into this. This is what I call the bouncing Trident killer. And it's actually a very convenient Trident killer because it has a couple of great features. The first one is that it can easily burn XP orbs to prevent lag. And the second great feature it has is that it is relog friendly. So as you can see here, I just left the world, and if I reload, contrarily to most Trident killers that would break, this one doesn't break. So you can have it on a realm and play with people who aren't as tech savvy as you are, and have your farm basically run constantly all the time, and it will never, or it should never, break. The end product again is this. Your AFK spot is here. It's 24 blocks from the edge of the platform here, the middle platform here, and that's close to about it. One thing I didn't mention yet, but I'm gonna mention it right now, is that this farm is entirely cave, so we don't let through surface spawns. Here I also added a layer of glass, but that doesn't really matter. You could make your roof here on that layer. It's just, I just made it this way so that we can take a look at the farm from above, like so. So that's it. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to hit the comment section below, you will find a link to a world download in the description, so you can play around, take a close look and test rates for yourselves if you want. And this is it for today, so thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in another video soon. Bye!